morning, everybody. Welcome to China Chat. Today we're going to be talking about tattoo shops and the industry, aftercare, and what to look for in a tattoo artist and a tattoo shop. Shop cleanliness, as I say, is next to godliness. You do not want to walk into a tattoo shop with garbage all over the floor, like nasty paper towels with people's blood on it, or the tattoo artist having their McDonald's cup and their large fry sitting right there next to their station. You want to walk into something that's neat and clean and tidy with a hell of a lot of good decor. Like, hey, one of the shops Hollywood used to have, believe it or not, we had CDs hanging from fishing wire on the ceiling. That looked totally cool, especially when the lighting was just right and you'd see like little rainbows everywhere. It was pretty neat. We also didn't have all the flash hanging up all over the walls like a lot of places used to do. Haven't been into a tattoo shop quite in a while. Hopefully to be getting into one soon to interview some tattoo artists. But having the flash all over the wall, my opinion, that was old school. Books is where to go. But then again, it's all about Pinterest and the internet and social media. So I'm sure people can find anything they're looking for wherever they want to find it online. All tattoo artists are required in the United States to be bloodborne pathogen certified. What that means is those that work with blood on a daily basis, they're highly exposed to it and they need to be certified in what to do, how to clean, and how to protect themselves and to protect their clients from any sort of spread of infection or disease. The ones that are majorly at risk right now in a tattoo shop would be hepatitis B, C, HIV and AIDS, can't forget tuberculosis, TB, and there are other diseases out there. Shockingly, I even looked up and they said Ebola is one of them. How to prevent bloodborne pathogens spread and infection. Very proper disinfection of the entire location, including their stations. And when Hollywood had his shops, trust me, we would be cleaning the floors, we would be cleaning even the front desk. Everything, even the phones, were clean and sterilized, kind of hospital grade, which we used Maticide. Other artists might use bleach mixtures or whatnot, but Maticide in my eyes was the best cleaner. It's hospital grade, and it did get up all the viruses and sterilize and sanitize the whole entire place. Your artist will hopefully take precautions. If not, get the heck out of Dodge. You don't want to be in there. They need to be using disposable gloves. Most shops nowadays are no longer old school using those metal barrels. Oh, thank God. Because I don't care how much you used to clean those things and use the autoclave on them. I personally never felt that those things ever got clean enough. And being around Hollywood and the 20 plus years he was in the tattoo industry, and I'd say about half, if not a little bit more than half, I also helped him out in his studio and did the piercings. We did everything as sterile as possible. Disposable barrels for one. Obviously disposable needles, one-time use when it comes to tattooing and piercing. Because you ever see somebody try to use a needle they use on somebody else? Run. Razors, when they got to shave the area where your tattoo or possibly your piercing needs to go, they need to shave it. Disposable. Must be disposable. The ink cups that your ink goes in, each client should have their own set of ink cups with their own ink in it. Also, the stick that they get the Vaseline out with, it should be a fresh stick every time it's scooped into the Vaseline. And most artists put it on their gloved hand or even their wrist to continue to get it when they need it. Everything should be disposed of properly after each client. the gloves, the barrels, the needles in a sharps container, which there should be one on every station, if not hanging on the wall in between the stations. Trust me, sometimes hanging those on the wall weren't very successful unless you had the proper brackets. Excuse me. Spray bottles that have their green soap, or some have alcohol or other liquid items. Usually they bag the top, they bag it, poke a hole just where the spray can come out, and it's on there secure, and that too should be changed for every single customer. Their machines even have to be properly covered. The cords for their machines, if they're using cords on their machines, those clip cords need to be covered with clip cord bags, and those also to be disposed of after every use. Some artists even go as far as putting a bag around the machine itself. Never call it a tattoo gun, because it's not. It's a tattoo machine. If you do it as a tattoo gun, and you're an apprentice, boy, you're going to be getting some, as we used to play it, apprentice baseball. Them apprentices would get any questions wrong. Let me tell you, Hollywood, bend over, grab your ankles. We went through a lot of brooms, and bam! Right in the ass! Oh, the welts! I used to die laughing. We had one location where we had beams on the ceiling. Forget apprentice baseball. We played apprentice pinata. Them apprentices were asked questions. They get one wrong, dangle from the ceiling, whack them in the ass with a broom. Trust me, I swear I brought 2 or 3 brooms a day, because these guys really had to get their answers down pat. No matter what the question was, they had to be able to answer it at any due time. When you get a tattoo, you really need to make sure that it's something that you really want. You don't want to run in and be like, oh my God, I'm dating Johnny, so I'm gonna get Johnny's name. Okay, well, Johnny is gonna walk eventually, or you're gonna walk, and then you're stuck with Johnny, and you gotta either 1, remove it, or 2, cover it up. Both more expensive than that probably maybe $30, $40 tattoo you just got that says Johnny. If you want the best results for a tattoo, you need to make sure you do your research on your tattoo artist. Again, social media, great thing to do. Referrals from friends that got a tattoo that you said, hey, oh my God, that looks awesome. Where'd you get it? Back in the day, it was, I got it at Twilight Dreams from Hollywood. Or other artists not to be named. We did have an apprentice one time. Let me tell you, greatest kid ever. Well, his name was Jordan. But guess what happened? He got his own nickname. Hollywood was known for giving his apprentices nicknames. Well, this one, he was setting Hollywood up for a tattoo one day. And he was, you gotta shake the ink before you fill the ink caps. And he was shaking purple. Okay, it gets good from here. Shaking the purple ink. Well, it was clogged. So he had to borrow one of my piercing needles to unclog it. Discarded the piercing needle, shook it, not realizing that it was unclogged, covered all over with purple ink. Oh my God. So between him, Hollywood, him, and my daughter, I believe, was there, the nickname Barney came in because he was covered in purple ink. Barney, we love you. Rest in peace. He recently has passed this past year due to not only a bacteria unknown to us on how he received it. That is one reason why you got to make sure these artists know their procedures and proper precautions for bloodborne pathogens. We love that kid. I highly recommend you eat at least 30 minutes prior to getting a tattoo or a piercing. The main reason behind that is you want your blood sugar level up, because you're going to be putting shock to your system. And if you don't eat or keep fluids in you and stay hydrated, there's a high risk for you to pass out. I was doing a piercing on a guy. This is the part that gets funny. He was getting his navel pierced, the belly button. First guy I've ever had get his belly button pierced. I had to refrain from laughing, but let me tell you, after it happened, I laughed hysterically. Well, let me tell you, I asked him whether he ate or not. Found out he lied, because he told us he did. Went and did the piercing. He passed out flat cold, fell off the piercing table. I had to have the artist get him back up on the table. We, of course, had to stop what we were doing. And the girl that brought him had to run to the McDonald's and get him a cheeseburger. Bring back the cheeseburger so he could eat. And I said, "You didn't eat before you got your piercing, did you?" "No." Well, let me tell you, don't lie to your artist or your piercer on whether or not you've eaten. They will not hesitate to wait while you get something into your stomach. Heck, a lot of times we've even had the apprentices run out and get something for a customer, because that's the kind of people that we were. The other thing, when you get a tattoo or a piercing, this is my second highly recommendation. Don't get it while you're under the influence of alcohol or any other kind of substance. And some of these substances can just be prescription medication or Tylenol or ibuprofen. The reason being is it thins your blood. Especially that alcohol, guys. It thins the blood. I know y'all have done it. You've been there, done that. Got that drunken stupor. Oh, let's go get tattoos! We've all done it at least once. We've all done it at least once. We've all gotten drunk, gotten a tattoo. Let me tell you, I bet you 90% of you regretted that tattoo the next morning, or had no idea you got one because your friends had them put it where you couldn't see it. I've seen it happen. It thins your blood, so when you're trying to get that ink, you want to get that ink to stay in there, and you end up, you're drunker than hell, or you've even taken a prescription medication that you didn't inform us that you took, or you just simply took too much Tylenol or ibuprofen that day because you had a toothache or something. That ink, there's a high chance and probability that ink's not going to stay in your skin. So next morning you're going to wake up and it's going to look splotchy. Because why? Your blood was too thin and it pushed the ink right back out of your skin. Guess what? You got to pay for a do-over. More money out your ass. All right, there's this one piercing story. You guys are going to die laughing because I legit, not even playing, almost peed myself laughing. I was a piercer at the time. Hollywood's master piercer. He could pierce things y'all wouldn't even know how to pierce, but I'm sure I've demonstrated and was a demonstration dummy for 99% of the piercing he showed his apprentices how to do. Little awkward when you're not at the gynecologist and you got a bunch of apprentices looking down here because they're learning how to pierce female genitalia. A little uncomfortable. Just saying. Well, speaking of female genitalia, wouldn't you be shocked if you get a phone call and find out somebody wants to come in and get their hoo-ha pierced? Okay, and when I say hoo-ha, I mean a hood piercing. And the hood piercing is the skin above where you pee. Well, this customer came in, she was 80 freaking years old. 80. I'm telling you, she was probably sporting the 70s thing down there, but she made sure she shaved for the occasion. I looked at Hollywood and going, your turn. I wasn't going there. Just happened that day. I pierced the gentleman's Prince Albert, so I was done with my genitalia piercing for the day, and I pawned it off on Hollywood. I go, I don't think I feel comfortable enough doing the hood piercing on an 80-year-old woman. Well, we were decent, closed the curtains. He was up there with this woman. And there was someone up there with him, because when females, just like at a doctor's office, when it's female to male, male to female, we always had somebody present during a piercing, mind you. And there was one artist, myself, and another apprentice sitting down on the bottom waiting, because this was actually going to be the last customer of the day. Well, let me tell you what. She dropped trowel. Mr. Man held his decorum, very professional, while we're all down there gagging and laughing because she may have shaved, but there was some funk going on in there. I think I threw up in my mouth 4 or 5 times, and I wasn't even in the same room. Oh my God. The smell. The smell. It was... Sorry, I just had a vision of the smell. Whew. Hollywood kept his decorum, though, and pierced this woman's hood. She was so excited. She even looked at him. I shaved just for the occasion. I'm sorry, but that was just so wrong on so many levels. She left, and he, let me tell you, could no longer hold his composure. He was dry heaving. He was freaking laughing. If you go get your privates pierced, please wash up beforehand. We don't need to be going and trying to get through that piercing. Please. But that was a good one. Then there was this other time I was doing a male Prince Albert. Well, let's just say, all you men, if you're going to get a piercing through your pee hole, you're going to know what I mean when I say this gentleman, before I started to pierce, turned into a turtle. Yeah, his little man tried creeping back into the shell. Yeah, so it was making it really hard to pierce. It's not like he was very well endowed, but, you know, I gotta be professional and I gotta pierce it. But every time I went towards it with the needle, it crept back in. It didn't want to be pierced. I did finally get that piercing taken care of, though, because we did put him at ease. I busted out my sense of humor so he could relax, and made it where he wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. So we did. I bet you love those stories, huh? One for the girls and one for the guys. Once your tattoo artist finished with their tattoo, they're going to go ahead and go over the aftercare procedures. When we worked in the tattoo shop, a lot of times the apprentices went over the aftercare, or the apprentices would be cleaning up the station while the artist went over the aftercare. I liked it best when Hollywood went over the aftercare with the customer, because it made it more one-on-one and more personal. He was always doing a nice light coat over the tattoo piece of some Vaseline, wrap it with saran wrap, tape it to secure. Because you don't want to get it dirty, you just got it done. But of course, before they wrap it, you could take all your pics and post it on Facebook or whatever. They'll give you time for that. But once that's wrapped, you want to keep that on for at least an hour. Some can go a little bit longer, but we always recommended at least an hour. Then you remove it. You will wash it gently. You're going to suds up with a mild antibacterial soap. Personally, I go for Dial. You're gonna suds it up and you're gonna rub it gently, because you want to get all the blood and all that right off of there. Then you're gonna rinse it off. Use lukewarm water, not hot and out cold. Room temperature, lukewarm water is your best bet. And you're gonna rinse that off. Then you pat it to dry. Try not using a towel. I would recommend more of a paper towel, because a towel can get little fuzzies in there, and then that can cause an issue. Paper towel and blot it. Then you're going to take Aquaphor, which, yeah, some people call it butt cream for babies. But Aquaphor, it's a very thick Vaseline, so you only need a little bit, like a pea size, depending on the size of your tattoo. But like for something like mine here would be the size of a pea, one of these here, and you're gonna go a super thin coat of the Aquaphor and leave it. And you might want to go it a couple times a day if it starts looking too dry and too crispy, as I call it, scabby. Go ahead and lightly wash it off and add another super light coat. Do it a couple times a day until your tattoo is healed. Don't swim. No hot tubs, no soaking in the bathtub, and please, oh my God, please, no tanning when you get a fresh tattoo. Wait till it's healed before you do that. Chlorine can have an effect on your tattoo where you can kiss most of it goodbye. So, I hope you enjoyed China Chat today. I will see you next week. Bye!